Hello and welcome to another Spectating Warzone Podcast episode. This time I'm going to be dropping into Operation Monarch. Now, I'm dropping it by myself just so I can make sure that I definitely die. I don't want to be resurging all the time. But I really wanted to watch something a little bit different for this episode. I wanted to see what has quickly become my favourite mode in Warzone. And we'll talk a little bit about why that is and some of the negativity that's surrounding the mode in this episode. So of course, if you like it, don't forget to like and subscribe. And let me know in the comments, what do you think of Operation Monarch? So, first of all, we're following Dave Chelt. Managed to follow him just before he even drops in. That's one of the nice things about Resurgence, is being able to spectate people right from the beginning of the game and kind of seeing what other people do in it. So I've been talking quite a lot on stream and on Twitter about how much I love this mode. Operation Monarch's a limited time mode. It's running for 2 weeks. We're like halfway through it at the moment. And I just think it's amazing. Like, oh, getting shot. That's the problem at peak. There's always so many angles to get shot from. Yeah, I've been really enjoying this. Like, I really do like the Monsterverse, and like, I like the Godzilla vs. Kong film. I love Godzilla films in general. And I fully expected this to be something where kind of we'd see a CGI cutscene of the two monsters on the island, and then we'd just be running around, and maybe you'd get like the boulders getting thrown in and the heat ray, but you wouldn't really see the monsters. I just thought the engine wouldn't handle it. Like, remember thinking back to things like the destruction of Verdansk, where we had the zombies running around. And everyone thought like, oh, the map's going to get overridden with zombies. And then it turned out there, you know, it was like 12 at a time or something. I just thought that was a really hard limit on the game. But then this, we've got Kong jumping around the map. He seems to interact with players, you know, he looks at you. Sometimes he'll swipe at you if you're flying around his face and stuff like that. He'll stamp at you if you're under his feet. Godzilla is swimming around the outside of the island. It just looks absolutely spectacular. I think the character models are really good. I think like they look absolutely awesome. It's just such a fun mode, and it's a limited time mode, so it's not like just one event like the train sort of thing where it's just one and done and then you move on. Instead, it's something that you can keep on going back into, you can keep on playing, and you know, it's a lot of fun. It's a silly mode that's a lot of fun. And there's lots of other nice things to it as well. You know, it's called Air Resurgence, which is probably the best mode. I think a lot of people agree with that. And because there's so few players on it, I think, you know, you start with like 60 or 70 players, it means you're much more likely to win a game. So we've won a bunch of games of this. The first time we played it, I think we won 3 games. Like we won, I don't know if we won 3 games in a row. We definitely won 2 in a row, and we won 3 that day. Because it's much, much easier to win because there's a lot less players. So there's a lot going for it. There's a lot of things that's really, really fun about this. But there has been a lot of negativity about it. And I'm kind of disappointed with this. You know, it's always kind of sad to see lots of people having a different opinion to you, thinking something other than you. Oh, he wasted that precision airstrike. It would have been cool if it hit him while he was going up the rope, but sad times. But yeah, it's been sad. I know Modern Warzone ran some polls, and like people were like, is it a W or an L? And lots of people voted for it being an L. And JGod, I think, has put out 2 videos. One saying like, is this it? And one video saying that it flopped. And it's like, normally I like JGod and I like his content and stuff, but I've got no idea how he's seeing that this flops. Like, everyone I've played with, everyone I've spoken to about it seems to be really enjoying the mode and think it's great in the same way that I do. But obviously there's this big part of the community, you know, the followers of people like JGod and Modern Warzone, that don't like it for whatever reason. And that seems like utterly bizarre to me. Like, when I've looked at the comments and the Twitter replies and stuff like that, the big complaint seems to be that the monsters don't fight, that they thought they were building up to like a Godzilla versus Kong thing. I think they wanted it to be more like a Fortnite event, you know, a one and done thing where you saw Godzilla and Kong fight on the map and then you carried on. That, to me, would have been really boring to play as. Like, it would have been spectacular to see, for sure. But, I mean, even actually, I don't know if it would be. Because think about it. If they had Godzilla and Kong fighting on the map, first of all, if, you know, you care at all about the Monsterverse story, which is hard to when it's, like, all wrapped up with the Call of Duty thing in this, it doesn't make sense. Like, Godzilla and Kong sort of settled their differences in Godzilla versus Kong. So it's not like the story demands that they fight. But secondly, think about what it would actually be like if they were fighting on the map. It would be like a canned animation, because it's not like they're going to build a whole, like, AI fighting game system for this. it would be a canned animation. So they'd probably have to be standing in the same location all the time. They would do, like, run through the motions of a fight, and they'd be ignoring players while they did it because it would have to be a canned animation. And then, like, you'd see it, and that'd be it, and it'd be done. And maybe one of them would win. Maybe if you were doing damage to them, maybe they'd do 2 different ones, so they could, like, switch at some point to whether Kong wins or whether Godzilla wins. And that'd be it. So you'd, like, see it once or twice, and it would look kind of cool. And then it'd be done. I feel like it'd be a lot more like the train event, which I thought was, like, one of the worst events they've done, where it's kind of the same thing happens every time, and, like, yeah, there's some spectacle involved in it. It looked cool with, like, the train blowing up. It looks cool with the all the planes flying over at the end. But once you'd seen it once, you were kind of finished with it. That was it. It wasn't much fun as a game. And so I find it really confusing that all of these people are saying, like, this event is rubbish because we don't see them fight, when it's like, how would seeing them fight make the game any better? I guess also a lot of these people who are asking to see them fight haven't played any Godzilla games before. There's been a bunch of Godzilla games, like the Godzilla Destroy All Monsters series, and then there was a PlayStation 4 one as well, which is really bizarre. I know I bought it quite early on in the PlayStation 4's life cycle, I feel like, and now I can't ever find it on the store again. Like, it's like they just removed it from the store. But it is terrible. Like, all of those games where they've always in the past tried to make it so you get to play as Godzilla, or you get to play, you know, as Rodan and Mechagodzilla and King Ghidorah and Mothra and all of them. And you sort of clumsily walk around an environment, destroying buildings in a really kind of dull way. And it's really clunky. You're just sort of slapping each other and trying to do moves, because these creatures aren't designed to look particularly, you know, acrobatic, or to look like they can move in really interesting ways. So it just ends up looking kind of naff. There's a lot of clipping through things. There's a lot of, like, just repeating the same moves over and over again. It looks kind of rubbish. We've never really seen Godzilla in this way. Well, other than, like, Godzilla Online. It was a game that was tied into that, was it 1998 film? Which had terrible graphics, but you did get to play as a news reporter just sort of following Godzilla around while he destroyed everything. That was cool. But yeah, I genuinely think these complaints about the event have been kind of silly, to be honest. Like, kind of just people asking for things that would have been much worse. But, you know, people like to pretend that they know better than the developers, so there's that. So this guy, someone's already left their team, so I'm guessing they're not, like, all together. He killed that guy on the roof. Yeah, I think he's good. I don't think there's anyone else. There's a lot of people playing this solo because it's like forced quads, but it's a bit of fun. I think that's one thing I could understand a complaint about, is that it's forced quads, and I don't think there's that many people who play as like an organized group of 4. I feel like this would have been maybe better if it was duos. Or, you know, obviously if there was a choice, but I think with these limited playlists, it's quite hard to get enough people to fill, like, solos, duos, trios, and quads. Or maybe if it rotated over the 2 weeks, so, you know, we had, like, 3 or 4 days of quads, 3 or 4 days of trios, 3 or 4 days of duos, 3 or 4 days of solo, that could be a lot of fun. I wonder if this person's watched my videos. Doing precision airstrikes on Godzilla and Kong is definitely the way to go. Well, when you're in a frenzy. I wouldn't waste it now. But when the frenzy thing started, which it might off at the moment, I'm not entirely sure whether we get to see that. But as soon as you get to do one of them, you can basically win the frenzies every time if you've got a precision airstrike or 2. It's so good. And I've seen people complaining as well that, like, oh, it's really boring, you just stand around and shoot them like, you know, this guy's doing now. And it's like, well, no, you are playing a game of Warzone. Like, you are still trying to win. You can still hunt down players. There's still bounties on the map. All of that fun stuff is still there. If you want, they can just be in the background. The only reason you really have to fight them is to get your load out. And it doesn't take that long to get your load out from shooting them, as long as you're using something like the anti-aircraft gun, or you're using assault rifles or something like that. Or, like I said, the precision airstrikes. But yeah, I don't understand these people who are like, oh, you just stand around and shoot them. It's really, really boring. It's like, you don't have to do that. You're making the game boring for yourself. Like, you're making a mode. You're playing the mode in a weird way to make it dull for yourself. I've also heard the other complaint that people have said that there's not enough good rewards, that the rewards aren't very good. And I kind of understand that. They're like, yeah, the rewards that you get from the event aren't very good. Like, they're not very interesting. But I think if you try to play Warzone just trying to get good rewards, you've been disappointed for like 2 years now. The rewards have almost always been bad because the whole monetization model of Warzone is they sell you the good stuff. And it's like the bundles that we got with this set were really good. Like the Mecha Godzilla skin looks really good, the Godzilla STG looks really good, the Kong finishing move and the throwing axe are really good. Like we got some really cool stuff added to the game with this. Just like with Haunting of Verdansk, we got like the horror movie stuff and the Donnie Darko thing. Like there's been some really cool stuff, but they sell it because that's how the game makes money. The free rewards have always just been like a little bonus. I always think like really I care much more about what a mode's like to play rather than what the rewards are like. People often say that about the Easter eggs and stuff. They're like, oh yeah, but this Easter egg's rubbish because the reward you get is rubbish. And it's like, but the rewards are never great. I mean, to be fair, I suppose Mud Drawber and Red Room were quite cool. And Enigma, actually. Okay, there's actually been some quite good gun rewards for some of the blueprints. But a lot of the time, you don't get a huge amount for them. It's more just about doing stuff. It's more about the actual game. Playing the game should be the focus, not like what you get for playing the game. Same with Pawn Take Spawn. Pawn Take Spawn, people are like, oh, what's the point of doing Pawn Take Spawn? You just get some emblems and a calling card. It's like, it was the puzzles, the community, like solving stuff. That was what was fun about it. Not like, I wasn't like doing all the Pawn Take Spawn being like, oh, I'm doing all this so I can eventually get a calling card. I'm not even sure if I ever got the calling cards. Like something went wrong with my account and I never got a lot of the stuff, which was kind of disappointing, I suppose. But yeah, the actual solving the stuff is the fun stuff. That's the stuff that I care about much more than getting rewards. Like this mode, just like, I mean, looking right now, like this guy's running through an area of the map that would normally be quite boring. You know, there's not a huge number of players near them. There is one, actually. But you've got, like, Godzilla's heat ray coming one side across it. You've got, like, Kong's rocks being thrown down on another part of it. Like, all of that stuff is really fun to me. Like, all of that stuff makes for a little bit more chaos, a little bit more fun. And me and my friend Emil, who I stream with a lot, we were talking about, you know, Blackout had limited time modes all the time. And they were really cool. So they'd have things like Heavy Metal Heroes, where everyone had like superpowers and there's tanks everywhere. And they had the mode where the gas comes in like insanely fast, so from the moment you drop you're having to like run because the mode came in. They'd have things where you've got like zombies, all of the different zombies locations in the map, and you'd get like boss zombies and stuff. And it was so much fun that you just have these like chaotic things going on. And with the Godzilla thing, the sort of last big sort of rebuttal that I will offer to all of the people complaining about it is that they didn't take away the main modes for this. It's not like some of the event type stuff they've done, or like some of the stuff that Fortnite does, where like they put out a limited time mode and then they say, oh yeah, but by the way, like now you can't play the main game, you have to play this or nothing else. They haven't done that. The main Battle Royale and Rebirth Resurgence are still in the game. You can still play them. This is just something extra for people who enjoy it. But I think that, you know, there's a lot of people who take the stance of, if it's not for them, then it's the worst thing in the world. And it's like they can't get their head around the idea that you might just not want to play a mode. That like that's okay. Like not everything has to be for you. Not everything has to be your kind of bag. It's like me like saying like, oh, like Vanguard, they added like the CDL modes to it and the ranked modes, and I don't play those. So how dare they waste their time making those? Because I'm not interested in them. Like that seems insane. You know, that seems utterly ridiculous. It's almost as bad as like if I went onto a FIFA YouTube channel and was like, oh, this game's terrible, I hate football games. It's like, okay, but other people like them, it's fine. But yeah, so in conclusion, I think this mode is absolutely amazing. I think this has been absolutely stunning. I don't think there's much they could have done to have made this better. I'm shocked that they managed to do what they could. Oh, is he going to see him? Yeah. The Owen gun is absolutely disgusting at range, considering it's an SMG. But yeah, I don't see how they could have made this much better, especially like gameplay wise. This is so much better than what I expected. I really love it. And part of the reason I'm making this video, part of the reason I'm talking about all of this sort of rambling bit, there's a guy on his left, but I don't think you saw him because PCFOV. Is he going to see the guys on his left? Nope, he's not. He's not even looking at where those bullets are coming from. He's just going to stand right. How is he not getting shot? yeah, part of the reason I'm making all of this is that I'm worried that because people like JGod and Modern Warzone obviously have a lot of sway within the community, and I know like the social media community for Call of Duty is a very, very tiny part of the overall audience, but I worry that developers on Warzone will listen to them and say like, oh, well, like, this whole event's been a disaster because they didn't like it, so we need to never do anything like this again. Instead, you know, we'll just make another million boring military-themed skins and events and stuff. Like, I really hope that doesn't happen. Like, this is quite dramatic. You've got the heat ray going off in the distance. He's crawling across the beach. That's cool. Yeah, I really worry that, like, some voices will get magnified. It's why every time I've seen a tweet or a video from JGod or Modern Warzone or something being negative about this, I've kind of just put out a tweet being like, because I know like some of the developers at Raven especially follow me on Twitter, I've put out another tweet being like, Operation Monarch's so good, I love Operation Monarch, it's great. And it's not really like, I'm not engagement farming with it, I'm not just hoping people agree with me, I'm like wanting the developers to see that there are a difference of opinion, that there's a lot of people who really enjoy this. Oh, there they go, they're dead. Right, we've got 18 left. I might actually do some spectating now. So if anyone from Raven's watching this, and I, you know, hope it'd be not cool if some of you do watch my videos as well, I bloody love this mode, and all my friends love this mode, and everyone I've played with, all the random people who've joined my team when I've been playing like duos, but it's put us in quads, they've all loved this mode. I've heard so many. One thing that's really cool in this, I tweeted about the other day, is that when I've had game chat on, because sometimes, you know, it's funny when you kill someone, they say something. I've heard so much positivity in this. I killed someone in this on the first day, and they were like, oh, he beamed me. That was a nice shot, man. Like, someone was, like, positive to me. He complimented me when I killed him in this mode. I've heard people who are on our team, like, who've just been randoms, just laughing and messing around and having fun. You know, like, when we were playing yesterday, me and Emma were just flying planes around for the whole match. And the other people on our team weren't being like, oh, those guys are just on planes, they're not helping. They were just laughing. Sometimes they're getting planes too and help us and mess around with it. It was just like so positive and fun. And I definitely think that's something that's missing from a lot of online games at the moment, not just Call of Duty. Oh, Godzilla. Oh, it's getting near the end. Yeah, I think that's missing from a lot of online games. Like, people are super focused on, like, being the best at whatever game it is. And, like, you know, it being balanced and fair and competitive. Rather than, like, this is a lot of fun, we can mess around a lot with it. That's what games should be. Games should be fun. That's why I like Blackout so much. Blackout was so much fun. It was like, you know, and the stuff that I didn't like about it, I don't like the fact that it doesn't have a respawn mechanic. That's the biggest problem. But it was so much fun. It's like, it's silly at times. It's not realistic, but I don't care because it's so much fun. Right. And I know some people can have fun being competitive, but I don't think that should always be the focus. Right, people on the boat. I've seen that happening a lot more lately, people getting on a boat, because like these ones always end on the coast. I suppose so Godzilla's still a part of it. And people taking those boats, there's not much loot on them, but it's not a bad place to snipe people from, and you've got tons of cover. They're gonna have to get off the boat though. Right, there's one team there and one team on the boat, and then this guy by himself. So it looks like it's 2v... Oh, I don't know actually. It can't be. So this is one person. So then there's two teams of 4. So it's 1v8, 1v4, v4. He took way too long to shoot then. Oh, he got Konged. What, did that Kong thing just wipe out everyone on the boat? I think it did. I think that Kong hit just absolutely decimated everyone on the boat. That was insane. No, someone's still alive. Must have decimated everyone on the beach. See, that's a sort of unpredictable ending that you just don't get in normal Warzone. So, yeah, I love this mode. Let me know in the comments, what do you think of it? Do you like it? Do you have some sort of problem with it? Let me know in the comments. Oh, that's my name because I was the first person to die. And if you like this video, if you like me doing these Spectating Warzone podcasts, don't forget to like and subscribe. There's much more on the channel. Just look for SWP and you will find all of the others. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Thank you very much for watching and goodbye.